Right, so today I'm going to talk about the University College of Estate Management course in quantity surveying. I'm going to be looking at the pros and cons of the course. I'm going to go through each module, just give you a brief summary of what it's about and what I learned. I'm going to tell you what getting this course has done for my career 4 years later. And then at the end, I'm going to give you my recommendations on whether you should pursue this course or not. So for those of you who are new to this channel is dedicated to just equipping you with the skills and knowledge needed to quickly grow into the senior roles within construction and quantity surveying specifically. My name is Mr. Pinero. I'm a senior quantity surveyor with over 10 years of experience. I've worked for some of the biggest construction companies in the world, including Balfour Beatty and Strabag. And I've also worked on some of the biggest infrastructure projects in Europe, like HS2. So let's get straight into this video. So just a brief overview of the UCEM course for those of you that are not familiar with it. It's designed to be a conversion degree. So for people who are not from the construction world and who want to get into the construction world to become quantity surveyors, this is kind of like the masters for you if you have a non-construction related degree. It's all online. It's fully online. There is no like campus and stuff like that. Everything is done online. It's over 8 modules and you'll be studying part-time over 2 years, which is what I did while I was working at Balfour BT all those years back. So I'm going to go through the modules right now, just give a brief summary, give you my opinion on them, stuff like that. So we'll start off with project management in the built environment. That's one of the modules. So this module, UCEM says on their website that it covers the strategic and organizational challenges of project management, teaching you how to plan, manage and deliver construction projects. I found this module gave a big picture overview of construction projects, which was absolutely great. It wasn't super detailed, but obviously they assume that you learn the specifics later on in your career. It helped me understand common terms like Gantt charts and project milestones. So yeah, great module, that one. The next module I'll talk about is construction technology, sometimes called sustainable construction. This one just introduces how buildings are actually put together. So you cover modern versus traditional methods, codes and regulations, and like evergreen building technology. For someone who's new to the industry, I'd say is a bit on the technical side. It was really detailed. There was many hours of reading about concrete versus steel frames, etc. But it gives you a solid foundation, so it's definitely worth doing. If you're going to go into like more infrastructure projects, like I work on like roads, bridges, railways, etc., then it's not that relevant to you, but still good to know, I'd say. The next module, which was really practical in the real world, was procurement and tendering. Here you learn about the different ways to buy services and materials for a project. You learn how contracts are awarded, and you come away with a strong understanding of how construction projects are bid, how subcontractors and contractors bid for works. You learn what a tender document looks like. You learn why you might choose design and build versus traditional procurement methods. So yeah, these insights are really helpful, especially in job interviews. You're able to speak to them about how the tender process works, which they would like. On to the next module, building economics. This module is all about how much things cost in construction and why. You learn about the different factors affecting the total cost of a project before construction even starts. So things like the size and complexity of a building, the materials and systems being used, the locations of site, how long a job takes, things like that. You learn about how construction projects actually make money, and how developers decide if something is actually going to be worth building. So it is a really good module, and it tells you like the why behind project costs, which gives you a serious edge in the industry, I think, because it's not just about measuring things, it's about knowing what drives the numbers as well. Next one, this was one of my favorites. One of my favorite modules was contract administration and practice. So this one is where they look at the NEC, the JCT and the FIDIC contracts separately, the pros and cons, and they really give you a good summary of when they're used, how they're used, which one's better, etc. This is the one module that I find that I go back and look at my notes on sometimes when I'm dealing with contracts in my day-to-day job now. So yeah, it's a really good module. Make sure you focus on this one if you're going to do the course. Next one is quantification and costing of construction work. So this one is all about measuring and pricing of buildings, which is essentially your bread and butter as a QS. Is understanding the traditional measurement process and how to produce a bill of quantities, etc. In my experience, this was like learning the QS language itself. In the coursework, you're actually tasked with producing a takeoff for actual building from the drawings and applying rates, and then producing a bill of quantities. My only criticism here is it was done manually. They didn't really show you how to use softwares like Bluebeam to do the takeoffs, which I think is more relevant in today's age because everyone's using software and AI tools nowadays to do tasks like that. Next module is the post-contract and cost control module. This module taught us how to keep track of costs during construction. So we worked through a case study of an ongoing project, and we just learned how to report the project progress and manage cost risk. It's quite useful in the consultancy context. It stimulated how you would present cost updates to clients, and it also reinforced software skills because we practice using Excel and other cost control tools. So this module is a really good cost management. If you want to work in cost management, this was a really valuable and hands-on experience. Lastly, the postgraduate project. This is like the dissertation. It's done over 2 semesters, and it's just really you just pick a subject that you want to write your dissertation in, and it develops your research and your writing skills. So yeah, it's another good one. In summary, the most practical modules for me were procurement, contract administration, and post-contract cost control, because they gave like real world skills that I still use today. The more theory heavy modules were like building economics and like the tech and law subjects. So I'm just going to go through the transferable skills that I gained from this course. So beyond the technical content, the MSc also provides several transferable skills that have helped me in my job. So yeah, I'm just going to go through them now. So first is the analytical and numerical skills. So every assignment involved numbers. So whether it was a cost plan or tender exercise, I learned to interpret data, spot trends, and make reasoned cost estimates. Next transferable skill, communication and writing. So there's a lot of report writing in this course, a lot of assignments. Most of them are between 2,000 and 10,000 words. So it improves your ability in written communication to write down complex ideas simply. So yeah, this one's a good transferable skill. The next transferable skill was the critical thinking and evaluation. This course can teach you to look at data and research and really think about it, criticize it, evaluate it, and really use it, take the value out of it and use it based on the context of what you was researching for in the first place. So it really develops those critical thinking skills, which in terms of the QS world really set you apart from the average QS if you really have these skills. Next, so 4 years later, let's talk about 4 years later now, the impact that this course has had on my career. So I'm now a senior quantity surveyor at FTSE 100 client organization. So obviously when I started the course 4 years ago, I was an engineer and I just wanted to move into quantity surveying. So I would say that this degree definitely gave me a leg up in a few ways. First of all, language and credibility. When you have the MSc, it immediately suggests or signals to employers that you've learned the fundamentals of quantity surveying. I could discuss how to measure a building or explain what a variation order was, which are literally things that I learned in the modules. So it helped me overcome the no experience hurdle. Next, network and support. So even though UCEM is an online degree, there are lots of webinars and forums. You meet a lot of peers and you have access to the tutors. This is all great if you feel stuck. Do you know what I mean? Because since there isn't no university campus, they do provide that service so that you can speak to your colleagues and students that are also doing the course. If you're feeling stuck, you're not alone. There's always forums to help. Career clarity, I would say this course gave me. So before I studied this course, I wasn't 100% sure what quantity surveyors do. By working through the module, it gave me a concrete understanding of what the role actually entails. And I learned that it wasn't just about cost control, but it was also involve lots of project coordination as well. Also, it gives you like a holistic view. It gives you a whole view of the profession. It fills in the gaps that you may not see or you may not be involved in the current organization that you're working in. So my one criticism of the course would be that this is not a deal breaker or anything, but I think that the course is more suited if you're going to work on like the client side. So if you're going to be a PQS, essentially a professional quantity surveyor, going to work for Turner and Townsend or those kind of professional quantity surveying organizations, is not that well suited if you're going to work on the contractor side for like Balfour Beatty or a builder. But it's still good. It's still a good course, and I'd still recommend it. So I know how it feels to be worried. Worrying, is it good for me? But I think generally this course will build your confidence, and it will give you a lot of clarity, and it will help you to break into the industry faster if you're starting from scratch. So, verdict: who should do this course? So in short, if you're a career changer with little or no construction experience who wants to become a consultancy side quantity surveyor or earn your RICS accreditation, then this master's is a strong match. It's explicitly designed for graduates from disciplines unrelated to construction and who want that flexible online format to be able to do it part-time whilst working full-time. It's not ideal, I would say. It's not ideal if you're only interested in contractor side roles, since the course kind of consultancy side of things more, I would say. Yeah, and also if you're not into very heavy reading or like more self-directed learning, then this course may not be for you. So my final thoughts: 4 years on, I can confidently say that the UCEM MSc was worth it for my career. By the end of this course, I felt really confident and ready to pivot into the quantity surveying role. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave it below. I have left a link down in the description for a free checklist for aspiring quantity surveyors. So this includes stuff that I wish I knew before I started on this journey, and I think you'll find it really helpful. So click on the link below and get that downloaded. Thank you.